Good evening. Before I sleep, I want to make a video, which is a message to three people in particular. One is King Charles III, the second is Joe Biden, and the third one is Xi Jinping. But I will first focus on King Charles and say, in 1979 in the Lancaster House Conference, when it was clear throughout the 60s and 70s that Joshua Mqabe Nkomo was the leader of the revolution, the British monarchy, British government decided instead to help install Robert Mugabe, an unpopular candidate, to lead the country, who subsequently went to kill my people. I was lucky to survive and get born in 1985. So King Charles III, I want to look at me clearly in the eyes. This is a survivor of the Gokura Wundi that your mother sanctioned, and hundreds, thousands Ndebeles perished, and Robert Mugabe got away with it. Milosevic did not get away with it. Idi Mnangagwa, who's now the president of Zimbabwe, was part of it, and he got away with it. This is 2023, and King Charles III, shame on you, because your parliament, your government installed in my country Gongura Hundist. Let me use a proper word. What word do they use for Gongura Hundist in Europe? Genocidal maniacs. A genocidal maniac is a president in Zimbabwe being stamped by the British. What does it say about your integrity? King Charles is the ruler, is the leading ruler of the free world. Milosevic is gone. In Rwanda, there's nobody who was killing people in Rwanda who stayed in power. They are gone. You helped Paul Kagame to rebuild Rwanda, and it is a success and a shining city in Africa, such that Britain, even now Britain, is seeking Rwanda's help with refugees because they got help. But when it comes to Zimbabwe or King Charles, why have you let this genocidal maniac, this crazy group of people who killed my people in the 1980s, why did you let them in power for all these 43 years? Someone is going to say to me, what is it got to do with the British? It's got everything to do with the British. It is the British that put Zanu PF in power. It is the British that maintained Zanu PF's power and their authority. And it is the British who can remove Zanu PF from power. So, King Charles, I'm asking you, come and remove the filth that your mother's government put in Zimbabwe. Of course, the Queen didn't know in 1979 what kind of a person Robert Mugabe and Zanu PF were. But after the evidence of the 80s, surely you let them continue in the 90s. They even got white people killed. Don't worry about the black ones. They go around. In the 2000s, they went to the farms and killed white people in the farms. They finished all white people. Now they're all over the place. He killed them. Mnangagwa, Idi Mnangagwa was part of the government. And the Zimbabwe military and General Chiwenga, the vice president, killed people in the areas in the 80s in Ndebeles. Killed white people, white farmers in the 90s. And as if it was not enough, they went to their own Shona people and destroyed their homes through Operation Mramba and Swina, and beat and destroyed them, committed atrocious violent acts in 2002 and 2008 to retain power by force. And the only reason why the military of Zimbabwe is still in power and do these things is because a bigger military, the British military, is allowing them to do so. That is why my message is directed at King Charles III, who has got the power and the ability to tell the Zimbabwean generals to fuck off. Democrats and the leader of the Democratic Party, Portas himself, is the leader of the free world, sitting at the most powerful seat in the world. How is it that you sleep at night knowing that for 43 years the United States has been supporting an oppressive regime in Zimbabwe? And you will say, how did we support an oppressive regime? We put sanctions on them. Well, ever since we put sanctions over 20 years ago, how far have they gone? Who have they helped? Have they not legitimized Zanu PF's stay in power by giving them something to blame when they're obviously looting and destroying my country? And do you not benefit from cheap labor? And I don't believe it is wise for Washington to group Zimbabwe with one of these African countries, or all of these African countries, to say, well, we need cheap labor from Zimbabwe to work in our hotels and our cruise ships. Do you know how gifted and talented we are? We have got answers in our brains to global change challenges faced by the climate change, challenges in the medical field. Our IQs are so high that we can be instrumental in maintaining the global free world order against the onslaught of attacks by the Russians and seemingly the Chinese as well. So if Washington knows what it is good for Washington, you'll be able right now to start partnering in Africa with people. I mean, with leaders like me who want to take their country to a place of success. And what is it that you're going to benefit by associating your Belt and Road Initiative with terrorists like Idim Nangao? Are you willing to sacrifice the success of China by supporting a despot like Idim Nangao in the Zanu PF regime? Now, gentlemen, I'm giving you time to think about it. Okay. Perhaps you say, who's this one? What power is it got? I've got all the power. My father is Jehovah. I can ask him just like me to destroy the economy of the United States. Soft landing, you will not get a soft landing. You will get a hard crash and the US economy will crash down by the glory of God. If I pray, dare, try me, you will see. Try me, I will pray for the economy of Britain, the whole free world, crash down. 2008, 2029 will be nothing. I will ask the Holy Spirit to make it worse. Unless you act on what I'm saying. Remove Zanu PF from power. Good night.